Welcome back to Velvet Screen Secrets, your go-to spot for the real stories behind Hollywood's biggest legends. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to check out my previous video, Clint Eastwood breaks his silence on Rob Reiner after decades. That one got people talking. Now, let's dive into the story that had everyone emotional. Rob Reiner's final interview. This one hit fans right in the heart.
Most people come up to me after over 200 shows. They'll say, the scene I remember most is when you and Archie discussed how you put socks and shoes on. And we had this scene that just happened it was improvised. I was putting my socks and shoes, and he walked in and he goes, "What are you doing?"
Rob Reiner, born Robert Norman Reiner on March 6, 1947 in the Bronx, New York City, grew up surrounded by pure creativity. In his world, comedy and performance weren't weekend hobbies, they were part of everyday life. His father, Carl Reiner, was nothing short of a comedy legend, an actor, writer, and director who helped define TV's golden era with classics like Your Show of Shows and The Dick Van Dyke Show. And his mother, Estelle Reiner, wasn't far behind, an actress and singer known for her razor-sharp wit and flawless timing. Imagine growing up in that kind of household, jokes flying around the dinner table, scripts everywhere, and creativity in the air. So it's no surprise that Rob picked up humor, structure, and collaboration naturally, like it was in his DNA. When he hit UCLA's film school, his love for storytelling wasn't just a dream, it was destiny. Though Rob first made his mark as an actor, he had bigger ambitions, and everyone could see it. His major breakout came in 1971, playing Michael Meathead on All in the Family. What a way to kick off a career! The character Rob played, Michael Meathead, was outspoken, fiery, and full of ideals. He was always butting heads with Archie Bunker, and Rob nailed that perfect balance between comedy and raw emotion. It felt real, like he was living that life, not just acting it out. Over 8 incredible seasons, the role didn't just make him famous, it earned him serious respect, multiple Emmy nominations, and a permanent spot in television history. But instead of playing it safe, Rob did something bold. He switched sides of the camera. That's right, he left acting comfort behind and stepped into directing, a move that shocked many. And guess what? It paid off big time. By the 1980s, Rob Reiner had transformed into one of Hollywood's most reliable and versatile directors. The man could jump between genres like it was nothing. In 1984, he co-created This Is Spinal Tap, a mockumentary so realistic that people actually believed it was a real rock band documentary. Its sharp, biting humor about rock culture flipped comedy on its head, and its influence still echoes through modern comedy today. Then came the films that proved Rob wasn't just funny, he got people. The Sure Thing, 1985, and Stand By Me, 1986, showed his deep understanding of emotion, friendship, and growing up. Stand By Me especially hit hard. It wasn't just a movie, it was a feeling, a memory, a moment in time that fans can't still forget. Stand By Me, adapted from a Stephen King novella, became a timeless story about friendship, loss, and that delicate moment between childhood and adulthood. Rob Reiner treated it with pure heart. Every frame carried care, respect, and emotion that hit deep. The film's lasting legacy proves how powerful Rob was at drawing real feelings out of his cast. Every performance felt alive, honest, and unforgettable. By the late 80s and rolling into the early 90s, Reiner was on a creative streak that most directors only dream about. In 1987, he gave the world The Princess Bride, a masterpiece packed with wit, charm, romance, and sincerity that still wins over audiences of all ages. It's one of those movies people never stop quoting or rewatching because it just feels magical every single time. Then, in 1989, Rob dropped When Harry Met Sally, and boom, he changed the entire romantic comedy game. The film's sharp dialogue, real emotions, and iconic scenes made it an instant classic. People still repeat those lines decades later. That's how deep it hit pop culture. But Rob wasn't done surprising anyone. In 1990, he turned up the tension with Misery, a dark psychological thriller that showed he could master suspense just as easily as laughter.
And this was all improvised. He said, what are you doing? I said, what do you mean, what am I doing? He says, you don't put your socks and shoes on like that. I says, what are you talking about? He says, you don't put a sock and a shoe and a sock. You put a sock and a sock and a shoe and a shoe. And we just improvised the whole thing. And it became something that was in the show. And so I remember that. And I also remember, and this was really extraordinary.
Under his direction, Kathy Bates delivered an Oscar-winning performance that sent chills through Hollywood. And just when people thought he'd peaked, Reiner dropped A Few Good Men in 1992, a courtroom drama so intense, so morally charged that it exploded into a full-blown cultural phenomenon. Rob Reiner has never been one to sit back quietly. He's always used his voice and his platform to fight for what he believes in. Over the years, he's thrown his energy behind causes like education, public health, and civic engagement, showing he's not afraid to stand up and speak out. Sure, his political activism has sparked plenty of debate and controversy, but that's Rob. Fearless, direct, and passionate. That same fire and conviction reflect the spirit of the character that first made him famous on All in the Family. Whether people cheered him on or challenged his views, Reiner never backed down. He's the kind of man who values truth over comfort, always has, always will. That bold honesty, both on and off screen, became a trademark of who he is. And when it comes to his personal life, Rob's story is just as full of emotion and twists as his films. In 1971, he married actress and director Penny Marshall, forming a creative powerhouse that brought Hollywood talent and real love under one roof. Together, they built a life filled with laughter, art, and family. Rob even adopted Penny's daughter from her previous marriage, actress Tracy Reiner, embracing her as his own. That's real heart right there. Their blended family was bursting with warmth and creativity. But not every love story lasts forever. After a decade together, they divorced in 1981, closing a meaningful chapter in both of their lives. Still, Rob wasn't done with love, because years later, fate had another plan waiting for him. When Rob Reiner met Michelle Singer during the production of When Harry Met Sally, something instantly clicked. It wasn't just chemistry, it was connection. Their bond went deep, and it even shaped his creativity in a major way. In fact, Rob made a daring move and changed the film's ending, a decision inspired by their growing love story. That real-life emotion spilled onto the screen, making the film's finale one of the most memorable in romantic comedy history.
We had become such a tight unit after 8 years. What we do is every Friday night, we tape the show in front of a live audience. We do a show at 5:30, and then we do some notes, and then we get another audience in, and we do another one at 8 o'clock. And we take the best of both shows. They'd cut it together, put on the air. After the 5:30 show one time, the first act, the first half of the show, it died. I mean, there was nothing. It was just a bomb. And we thought, what are we going to do? The four of us got together and started improvising an opening act, the first act. And the writers are writing it down, and we're scribbling it, and we learned it, and we went in front of the 8 o'clock show, and we just did it, and it worked. That is something I'll never, ever forget, because it only works after 8 years and that tight-knit.
Their connection only grew stronger, leading to marriage in 1989. And together, they built a family full of warmth, laughter, and creativity. They raised 3 kids, sons Jake and Nick, and daughter Romy, creating a home that blended art, heart, and solid family values all under one roof. Even with Rob's fast-paced Hollywood life and the non-stop pressure of fame, he and Michelle shared something deeper, a mission to make a real difference in the world, especially for children. In 1997, they co-founded the I Am Your Child Foundation, dedicated to helping kids grow up healthy and supported in their earliest years. That mission didn't stop there. In 2004, they expanded their vision with Parents Action for Children, a nonprofit built with 2 clear goals. First, to educate parents through celebrity-hosted videos showing just how crucial those early childhood years are. And second, to push for real policies that help families and children across the nation thrive. Their work proved that for Rob and Michelle, writing movies was just one part of their legacy. Making change was the other. Through their passion and hard work, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer turned their beliefs into real, lasting action. Their mission to help families and children wasn't just talk. It created a genuine impact that reached far beyond the bright lights of Hollywood. But then came a moment that truly stunned everyone. The moment that would mark the end of an era. Rob Reiner, the actor, director, producer, and fearless activist, sat down for what would become his final interview. Those who were there said you could feel the weight in the room. Journalists, fans, even longtime friends were visibly shaken. Known for his sharp wit, deep understanding of people, and that rare mix of humor and heart, Rob approached this conversation differently, with pure honesty and emotion. "I've always believed that stories have the power to change people," Reiner said, his voice calm but thoughtful. "Whether it's a laugh, a tear, or a moment of understanding, film and storytelling are the bridges between hearts." Powerful words that captured exactly who he was. Even in his later years, his eyes carried that same spark, curiosity, compassion, and love for humanity that fueled every masterpiece he ever made. The interview began lighthearted, filled with laughs and nostalgia, as Rob reminisced about his All in the Family days, where he famously played Michael Meathead Stivic. He chuckled, saying, "I was just a kid trying to find his voice on national television. I had no idea my character would become such a cultural touchstone." The room laughed with him. No one knew those words would be some of his last public reflections on a lifetime of storytelling. As the interview went on, everyone realized this wasn't just another stroll through Hollywood memories. It was something far deeper. This wasn't about fame, awards, or career highlights anymore. It became a raw, emotional reflection on life, love, loss, and the unstoppable march of time. You could feel every word sink into the room. Rob opened up about his legendary Hollywood run, revisiting the highs of directing classics like This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, and When Harry Met Sally. He smiled as he shared stories from each, but he didn't sugarcoat anything, not this time. He talked about the personal struggles that came with success, the quiet heartbreaks, and the moments behind the scenes that the public never got to see. It was vulnerable, real, and deeply human. Then the energy in the room shifted, softer, heavier. Rob began to speak about what truly mattered most to him, family. His voice trembled just a little as he said, "Family is everything." The space fell silent. He continued, his tone thick with emotion. "I've loved, I've lost, and I've learned more from my failures than my successes. My children, my partners, my friends, they are the heartbeats of my life. Without them, everything else feels hollow." Those words landed hard. People in the room tried to stay composed, but it was impossible. His honesty hit everyone right in the chest. It was the kind of moment that reminded you this man wasn't just a Hollywood icon. He was a soul who had lived, loved, and felt every bit of it. Rob spoke with deep pride about being a father. You could see it in his eyes. He described the powerful bond he shared with his children, and when he mentioned his daughter Tracy Reiner, whom he adopted during his marriage to Penny Marshall, his voice softened with emotion. He praised her talent, her strength, and the way she carried herself with quiet determination. You could tell that father-daughter connection meant everything to him. He reflected on moments with his loved ones, people who shaped his life both personally and creatively, and how their influence still guided him through every choice he made. Every story he told, every film he directed, carried a piece of them. Then Rob smoothly shifted back to the craft that defined him. He leaned forward, his tone sincere. "When I direct, I want the audience to feel," he said. "It's not about grand gestures or expensive sets. It's about capturing the truth of human experience." That's when you understood what made his movies so timeless. That's what makes a story endure, he added with conviction, leaving the room hanging on every word. The most emotional moment of the entire interview came when Rob Reiner opened up about aging, mortality, and legacy, topics most people shy away from. His tone softened, his words slowed, and the room went silent. "We all have an expiration date, whether we acknowledge it or not," he said quietly. "What matters is what we give in the time we have, the love we share, the stories we tell, the courage we show in the face of fear. I hope I've done enough." Those words hit everyone like a wave. You could feel the air thicken with emotion. Then he continued, voice steady but full of heart. "But what truly matters is how I've touched the lives of others." That line broke through the walls. No script, no pretense, just pure truth.
Journalists who came expecting a regular interview were suddenly wiping tears, caught completely off guard by his vulnerability and humanity. Rob smiled softly, his trademark warmth shining through even in such a heavy moment. "I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me," he said with a calm, gentle grin. "I just want people to remember that life is precious, and the moments that matter most are the ones we share with others." The room changed after that. It felt smaller, quieter, but somehow fuller. There was this rare mix of sadness and peace floating in the air. Rob's presence, his humor, his sharp mind, and his wide-open heart filled every corner, leaving everyone there feeling like they had just witnessed something far beyond an interview. It felt like a goodbye wrapped in wisdom and love. As the weight of Rob Reiner's words settled over the room, something shifted. It didn't feel like a celebrity interview anymore. It felt personal. The cameras might still have been rolling, but every person there knew they were part of something much deeper. This wasn't about fame, success, or Hollywood milestones. It was about life, humility, and what it truly means to live with purpose. When the cameras finally stopped, Rob's final words lingered like echoes, soft but unforgettable. They felt like a quiet blueprint for how to live a meaningful life, one built on passion, honesty, and heart. "Tell the stories you need to tell," he said, his tone calm yet full of conviction. "Love fiercely, laugh often, and never forget that even the smallest gestures can change the world." Those words hit everyone in the room. It wasn't just advice, it was truth. You could feel the weight behind every syllable. Then, Rob reflected on his beginnings, pulling back the curtain on his upbringing. He explained that while his childhood home was culturally Jewish, it wasn't strictly religious. It was less about faith and more about the rhythm of the community and the social energy that surrounded his family. "We weren't deeply religious," he admitted, "but we were connected through humor, love, and tradition." He mentioned his bar mitzvah, describing it not as a grand spiritual awakening, but more of a cultural milestone, a rite of passage that marked a moment in his life rather than defined it. That mix of honesty and reflection gave everyone a glimpse into the man behind the legend, one who always searched for meaning, even in the simplest of moments. Rob Reiner's perspective on life didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was deeply influenced by his father, Carl Reiner, a man who was always open about questioning and evolving his beliefs. Carl had spoken candidly over the years about wrestling with faith, especially when confronting the haunting realities of the Holocaust and the difficult questions it raised. That honesty about doubt and discovery clearly left a mark on Rob, shaping a worldview built on thinking for yourself, not just following tradition. By the time Rob appeared on Real Time with Bill Maher on January 13, 2012, he spoke with complete clarity about where he stood. He identified as having no religious affiliation and described himself as atheistic, explaining that his outlook was grounded in reason, curiosity, and human responsibility, not religious doctrine. His tone was calm, confident, and thoughtful, showing that his beliefs came from reflection, not rebellion. But Rob didn't reject spirituality completely. Far from it. He expressed real interest in Buddhist philosophy, especially ideas like mindfulness, compassion, and self-reflection. Those principles spoke to him on a deeper level and influenced the way he approached not just life, but filmmaking too. That mix, rejecting rigid systems while staying open to wisdom, became the foundation of how Rob lived, worked, and saw the world in his later years. But as his honesty and openness drew admiration, it also pulled intense attention his way. Soon, emotionally charged headlines began swirling, leaving fans and insiders completely stunned. The spotlight slowly shifted from celebration to concern, and the atmosphere surrounding Rob Reiner's name grew heavy, filled with emotion, curiosity, and unanswered questions. Yet one thing remained crystal clear: his impact. Rob's journey, built on fearless creativity, unfiltered honesty, and endless curiosity, continues to echo far beyond the movie sets, interviews, and political debates that once defined him. His story wasn't just about what he created, but how he lived. He questioned everything, cared deeply, and faced every challenge head-on, even when the world was watching closely. Through every high and every heartbreak, Rob Reiner stayed true to himself, proving that integrity and empathy can coexist in an industry built on illusion. And though the world may never stop debating his choices or legacy, one truth stands firm: Rob's voice, his values, and his courage to live authentically left a mark that time can't erase. His legacy doesn't fade, it inspires. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What part of his story moved you most? If this hit you emotionally, smash that like button. And make sure to subscribe to Velvet Screen Secrets for more powerful, untold stories that keep Hollywood's truth alive. Don't miss out. Share this video and keep the conversation going.